the salary of the county supervisor is approximately $90,000. Is that sufficient for you to devote 100% of your working time to the duties of a supervisor and prevent you from needing to take a second job and likely creating extra work for other supervisors?
Yes, that's your turn.
We're at Mandy.
I'm currently raising my 3 children on $55,000 a year from my 40-hour-a-week job. So yes, absolutely. I would be putting at least 40 hours a week into this job with no problem on that salary.
Yep, I make the 90,000, and plus I've also opened up a restaurant. But I do want to say that the work that I do, you can't even tell me the work that I do in my community. If you're not there to see what I'm doing, you can't say what I'm accountable for. You can't say where I'm at. I don't go into the office and sit 40 hours a week. I don't have to because I'm wanted in the community. I do my work out in the community. I collaborate, I partnership. I'm a part of Think Iowa City, Better Together 2030. I serve on the 6 judicial courts. I am everywhere, and when I'm not visible, I can tell you where I am. I've been hearing people say I'm not at work and I'm missing work. When I'm missing work, I want you to know that I'm out in Washington, D.C. in February at state legislative conferences. I serve on the steering committee. I am the vice chair out for NACO, National Association of Counties Officials. And so every February, I go out there and I am on the policy and steering committee. I serve as vice chair on the Community, Workforce, and Economic Development. I also serve as out there in Washington, D.C. on the housing. So all the housing issues here, I go out there and learn, and I'm able to bring it back. So a lot of times I know that in the community there has been this question that it's mainly been aimed at me, Supervisor Porter, and I'm happy to stand here and tell you what I do. I work. I do a lot in this community. I'm called on for everything. Even if somebody die, I don't care, black, white, whatever. They call me, I am there. I absolutely. Yeah, they know what I do. The proof is in the pudding. Thank you.
Okay, so the question I think was, is that salary enough for us to do our job? Yes, it is. I'll say something that when I first decided that I was going to throw my hat into the ring and run, I talked to different supervisors, and every one of them told me something different about the job in terms of the number of hours that it required. And I was told by 2 that it was a full-time 40-hour-a-week job, and then I was told by the other 3 that it was 3/4 time. And Rod and I have actually disagreed on this, but I will say this. When we get our paycheck, and it's for 2 weeks, it says for 60 hours. So that's instead of 80, so that's 3/4 time. So we are compensated at that. We are able to schedule our time outside of our meetings as we are needed and where we are needed, as Royce pointed out. And so sometimes you come in, we're not right there, but we're off doing our work. So yes, it's enough. Oh, but I also heard, Mandy, you did say.
Let Rod know. Come on.
Am I up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I was a social worker before I got this job, so it's plenty of money. But I do want to say, I mean, I've been doing this job for a while, and I have served with a number of people. And everybody has a little bit different way of doing the job. Everybody sees different things that they feel are important, and they kind of do that. And actually, that's why when you have 5 people, it's a good mix, because hopefully you cover everything in that way. I do think there are, the public needs to ask people what they do, and you need to tell people what you think we should do. And basically, you're the decision makers. You're the people that decide if supervisors are doing the right things or not. So you tell us what you think we ought to be doing. I have kept track of my own time for a while. I did a little time study for a couple months. I always work a little bit over 40 hours a week. That's just how it turns out. I don't think that's excessive. I know a lot of people who work harder than that. I like what I do, so sometimes it doesn't feel like work. Sometimes it feels pretty darn hard. Just depends on what you're up to. But I really feel like the public needs to pay attention and decide if you think we're spending our time and energy in the way that you feel we should spend it.
So accuracy and transparency in 25, if I read the budget right, it's actually going to go up to $99,000 for the Board of Supervisor. I will tell you, I'm retiring for a reason. I planned on running for Board of Supervisor 20 years ago when I was sitting on other boards, Rural Housing Trust Fund here and Planning and Zoning. I saw then that I had an interest and desire then. So for me, I'm retiring to set myself up to be there full-time, to be there more than full-time. I do other stuff on the side and always have, some other different things just to make, that advance, to learn something. I'm a 60-hour, at least a week employee, maybe 70. So for me, this is going to be pretty simple. I'm kind of old school. I guess if you ever heard of a 100-day plan. So I've been talking to other departments in the county. I've been asking them, what do you need? What do you not need? I've been getting to understand the county deeper dive now that I'm getting to that point. And with that, I plan on going in every one of those departments, spending time in those departments, seeing what they need and seeing what they don't need. There's obviously different things in those departments that I don't understand unless I'm sitting behind that counter and talking to people and learning and watching and listening and asking questions. So I have no problem for the 4 years if I get in saying I don't need a raise all 4 years. You can give me a reduction. I will still run. If you want to make it $50,000, this isn't about the money for me. This is about serving the people. I have no problem, and you can write this down. 50 grand, I will still do this job. So.
Lisa, do you have a,
Yeah, well, my rebuttal then will go both to Bob and Mandy, because Mandy, in an earlier forum, you said something about you would not take any raise, or you didn't need a raise or something. And Bob, you just said that you would go down to $50, so.
50,000.
50,000, yeah, 50,000.
You know what, $50, that might be a little tougher.
Yeah, it's a little low.
Just gas
Right.
at least.
You can have your standards, right? But, so I would be happy to help you both identify a local nonprofit to give the access to, just because we're doing a job that we are the ones that are required to vote on salaries, because we have to vote on everyone's salary, but the state code requires us to pull ours out and to vote on it separately. Doesn't mean that, oh, okay, well, now it's embarrassing, we shouldn't get a raise. And that has happened the last 2 years where, oh, well, let's do this so that we can tell come on, we do the work and we deserve a cost of living raise just like all of our employees deserve a cost of living raise. So I've said it, I said it out loud, and I stand by it. So.
And I'll say it, I've been advocating on behalf, I literally been doing the work of advocating on behalf of mental health, affordable housing, veteran affairs, our youth in the community for over 20 years. And I'm gonna tell you now, I was doing it when I wasn't getting paid. I wasn't getting $1. So I'm proud to be getting paid of what I do. I'm still doing what I do. And I did it when I wasn't getting paid. So I'm cool with whatever, however you feel. If you feel that you won't take a raise, I'm happy to get a raise. I'm happy. I was born and raised in the projects of Saginaw, Michigan, and if you know where I come from and where I am now, I am very proud. So yes, I'm happy with the salary.
And I want to just kind of put this, because you had put a challenge out recently about tracking our time and stuff. I actually did that the first year that I was on the board because I was curious, since each supervisor had told me something different. And the compensation board had just recently come up with a plan to bring us up to 3/4 of the pay of the auditor, treasurer, and recorder. And so I thought, well, I wonder, how much time I am putting in. So I tracked it. And I tracked it for the first year. And there were some weeks where it was under 40 hours a week, and there were some weeks where it was over 40 hours a week. But on average, it was 88% time, which is more than the 75% time for which we're compensated, and it's less than the 100% time that some are saying that the job is. And then I did it a few years in, and it was right around 88% again. You have to do it over enough time because you're going to have those weeks during budget season. Oh my gosh, we're there all the time. We may as well just pack up a cot and sleep at the building, but. And then there are times where it kind of trickles down. but it has been pretty consistent for me to come out to 88% time.